Hello and welcome here to Talking STP and welcome back to the channel here today. We are going to be going through the preview of Barcelona against Espanyol in the penultimate game of the La Liga season. We are currently top of the league on head-to-head record, and the only thing that's going to keep us there is 3 points against Espanyol at home, and that is exactly what we intend to do. So let's have a look at what's going to be going down between these two massive rivals on Sunday afternoon. Now, the first thing to note about this weekend in particular of La Liga fixtures, every single fixture in the division is going to kick off at the same time, which I think personally is a great idea. At this stage of the season, nobody should be having any psychological advantages, nobody should be having any physical advantages, and that is what that gives us, because I think the last 2 weeks now against Sporting and the weekend against Betis, we were last to kick off. The pressure was firmly on us. Real Madrid and Atletico, both those times played before us, whereas this weekend we'll all be kicking off at the same time. We won't really know what's going on in the other games, so all the players have got to focus on is what's going on in front of them. So that should ease the pressure a little bit, because the last 2 weeks we've been going into it knowing that we really do have no room for error. That doesn't really change though on Sunday. We still have no room for error. We've got to win both our games. Espanyol at home needs to be 3 points and Granada away needs to be 3 points. And against two teams who we should be beating. We should be beating these two teams, and despite the fact that we seem to be crawling over the line, I think we're going to get the job done. And Espanyol is a good fixture for us because it should liven us up a bit. It should get everybody going. I think Luis Enrique, you may have heard in the press, against Real Betis at half-time, he gave the angriest team talk of the whole season. He said these words. He said, if you don't wake up, you're going to lose La Liga and it'll be all your own fault. Now that is fantastic. That is what we need. We need somebody to go in there and tell those players, come on, we've got a few games left, that's all we've got to do, just give everything now and you will get the rewards. And fair play to them, they did wake up in that second half and we got 3 vital points, and they've got to do the same here. This is a derby, this is a Catalan derby. Espanyol are not a good team, but they're fighters, quite literally they're fighters. They will go down not without a fight, because they're going to kick, they're going to scream, and they're going to take us out. We've got to rise above that, we've got to show our quality, and we have to beat them. I think in terms of previous meetings against Espanyol, we had them in the Copa del Rey this season. We played them 3 times throughout January, which wasn't at all enjoyable, to be honest, because the first game of the year was against Espanyol away, and we drew 0-0, one of the only sides to stop us from scoring a goal this season, and they did that with sheer brutality, poor refereeing. That's why I really, really hope this weekend there's a strong referee, because I think the first time a bad challenge goes in, you need to produce a card, because if you don't and you let Espanyol get away with it, the game can really turn quite sour. And I think you've got to have a strict referee, you've got to have a referee who can keep control of this game, because the tempo will be running high. There is no team that would want to stop us from winning the league more than Espanyol would. They're 5 points away from the relegation zone, so they're not exactly safe yet, but they are on their way to safety. Sadly, we are going to be seeing them in La Liga for yet another season. So they have a bit to play for, but mostly they'll be playing for pride. They're going to be playing for pride, they're going to be playing for the city. But I think last season we played them at home actually, and it was a very, very interesting game because it ended 5-1. But that was an absolutely really, really close game up until half-time. We actually went behind in that game, and it was only an absolutely mesmerising goal from Lionel Messi that changed the outlook of that game. Right before half-time it came, and that really did change the game. So we've got to be careful here. We cannot let Espanyol take the lead. We certainly can't do that. We've got to be focused right from the moment go, and we've got to keep our heads, because at this stage of the season, like, the pressure is on the players, the physical demands are bearing down on the players. It's so easy to lose your cool, to lose your head. Against Betis on the weekend, there were some really bad challenges. They were very, very physical. The grass was long. They were trying to frustrate us. We kept our heads. We won the game. We've got to do that again on Sunday, because there will be tackles. There'll be some bad decisions, I've got no doubt. There will be some things which go against us. But the main thing we have to do is score the goals we need to, keep focused at the back, and we will get our result, because it's so vital that we do. Atletico Madrid are away to already relegated Levante, so that's a game that you probably expect them to win, although in recent seasons they haven't been terrifically successful there. But certainly in that game, you would expect them to win in the kind of form that they're in. Real Madrid, on the other hand, are at home to Valencia, which again is a game that you'd expect them to win, judging by the league table. But both of these clubs have, of course, got Champions League football this week, so you don't really know how that'll affect them in terms of physically and mentally. But what we've got to concentrate on is our own job. If we win both of our games, nobody can stop us. Doesn't matter what they do, doesn't matter what they bring. If we win our 2 games, we're champions, and we are deservedly champions. Espanyol at home, 14th position, and Granada away, 16th position. There's no excuses here. There's no excuses for these players. They are tired, they are fatigued, but there's just 2 more games, 180 minutes of football to go. There's no question that we can still do this and we can still win this title, because it's got to a case now where the players have got to start motivating themselves to going into these games. They've got to start understanding exactly what is at stake here. And I think what we also have to start doing is building some momentum, because we got a cup final at the end of the season. We got a massive cup final at the Vicente Calderon against a team like Sevilla, who may not be in the best of form, but you can bet their attitude will be right, and you can bet that Unai Emery will have them fired up. And I think that's so important that we start building that momentum and getting that confidence back, because in the last few games we haven't played well, but we've got the results. I wouldn't expect many changes to the team. I think Luis Enrique will look to freshen things up if possible, but then he looks on the bench and there's nobody there to be seen. So it's going to be Ter Stegen in goal. I think he's obviously going to play Claudio Bravo. You all saw that he had a calf problem at the end of the game against Betis. He's definitely ruled out for this game. We're not really sure of how much of the season he's going to be ruled out for, whether he's going to be ruled out for the rest of the season or just this game on its own. The tests need to be done. Dani Alves will probably play at right back. Sergio Roberto came on against Betis. Alex Vidal doesn't really seem to be in favour of Luis Enrique at the moment for things that are going on behind the scenes. Gerard Piqué and Mascherano, I must say those two have been fantastic in recent weeks. Really committed at the back. Really ensuring they get the ball back quickly and use it well. Jordi Alba at left back, of course, nobody else to come in. Same for Sergio Busquets. There's no opportunity to rest him. In midfield, we may see a change. I thought Rakitic did a really good game actually against Real Betis. Iniesta as well. We could see those two, but we could also see possibly the inclusion of Sergio Roberto or possibly Rafinha as well, who's back from injury now. So be interested to see what Lucho goes with there. And of course, the front three pick themselves: Neymar, Messi, and Suarez. And Neymar himself looked better against Betis. He looked a bit more energetic. He looked a bit more confident. Lionel Messi, of course, outstanding in that second half, creating both the goals, creating from deep, playing a little bit more central, like we've seen him a few times this season. And Luis Suarez, of course, who is probably going to be crowned the Pichichi of the league. Fantastic goal scorer, been excellent this season in all manner of games. So certainly those front three will be going into the game with a lot of confidence. Like I said, we played Espanyol in the Copa del Rey this season. We won both those legs. We had that frustrating 0-0 away draw. But last season we did win 2-0 away there and won 5-1 at home. So there's certainly encouragement. Espanyol are a derby side. We know that. We know they're committed. But at the end of the day, they're in 14th place. We've beaten them on many occasions at the Camp Nou. So there's no excuses for us, really. We've won both of our last meetings against Espanyol at home. So there's no question that we can do it. There's no question that the players have won it. I think what's important as well is the crowd. The crowd need to be good on Sunday. I'm sure there'll be an absolutely full house there at the Camp Nou. Last but one game of the season. Everything on the line. Local derby. It's exactly what you want. The feeling should be there. And that should help the players as well, because I think that's important. That's why I think that a derby game is exactly what we do need. We need something to put a bit of fire in our belly. We need something to get us going a bit. And certainly this game is exactly that. And then, of course, we've got another week's break. We go to Granada, and hopefully we can do the same again there. But this weekend, I've got a tiny feeling that one of the Madrid clubs are going to slip up. One of them are going to drop points this weekend. I think the physical demands of playing in the Champions League both weeks in a row is going to be too much. One of them are going to drop points. But either way, we've got to take care of our own job, do our own thing, and at the end of the day, we will win that game. So leave your thoughts and predictions below, guys. I'm not sure what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win. I'm going to be confident here. I'll say 2-0. I think 2-0. I think that's a good prediction, because I think we've looked actually very solid at the back in recent games. We've scored a lot of goals, and we've kept 3 out of 3 clean sheets in our last 3 games. So I think we can keep a clean sheet. Caicedo is going to be one to watch. They've got a few players. Marcos Asensio, who's on loan from Real Madrid. He's looked pretty decent this season. Hernan Perez, another man who can score a few goals. But in terms of that, we should be keeping a clean sheet against Espanyol. And if we can just get that first goal, if we can get that first goal quite early, we can add to it. We can gain in confidence. The crowd can get behind us. And I think there's definitely room for us to win this game and win it by a decent margin. So I'd happily take a 1-0. I'd take anything you got to give us as long as we get those 3 points. Leave your predictions down below. How do you see this game going? How exactly should we approach it? Should Luis Enrique make any changes? Should he try to freshen things up? Or should we just stick with the tried and trusted starting 11? Let me know down below, guys. It's been great making this video as always. I thought I'd bring it out a few days earlier just so everybody could sort of see it and you could let me know your views before the game kicks off. And so that'll be great. So thanks, guys. I'll see you very, very soon. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça!